Oh my God, what have I done? I'm alone in Cairo. It's forbidden to dance. I have no one to turn myself to, no friends, no connections, no impresario, no man, nothing. Every time I go to the street to buy, groceries, I'm harassed because this is a very big problem in Cairo. Sexual harassment. This is something that has been brought to the attention of the public very recently. It was a taboo subject. You didn't hear about it, but it is very, very aggressive. So imagine I'm totally alone. I know that it's illegal to perform, and I'm there to perform.
Yeah.
And then every time I go into the street, I have fights with men because of the sexual harassment that I was not used to. And it all came down on.
I used to think if I couldn't find hope, I should just let it all go. I used to think if I couldn't make dreams come true, I should just let them all go.
So your parents were okay with it. They never forced you for pursuing conventional professions per se. They were fine.
Well, they were not okay with it.
So, hey, Indian girls, this is what happens at the other end also.
Look, my parents know me. They know nobody can force me to do anything. I mean, I've always been very independent, and I've always been very focused. And when I say I'm going to do something, they know I'm going to do it. I've always been like this. So it's kind of, a lost battle. And they were always aware of it. They never tried to move me out of the way that I was carving for myself, but that doesn't mean they were happy about it. So definitely they were not happy that I wanted to pursue a career as an actress because they thought it would be insecure, and I had good brains. I was an A+ student, and I entered in the universities that I wanted, and then I chose to go for the training as an actress. They thought, that's crazy, you're wasting your brain, And then when I decided to go to Egypt, and when I decided to move and start my career there, they thought I was nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. And they tried to change my mind. They tried to show me it is risky, you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you have no connections. What are you gonna do alone in Cairo? I mean, it's crazy. Why don't you stay here? It is your country. At the time, I was already working on television as an actress, and I was doing theater already, and I was promoting Oriental dance in Portugal, just the beginning. And they wondered, why are you leaving all this behind? You have an entire future ahead of you for a country that is brutal to women, that has a culture that is so different from ours, a country where you know nobody and you have no perspectives of a future. There was no offer, there was no manager waiting for me, no contract proposed, nothing, zero. So they thought, understandably, that I was crazy.
Yeah.
And they told me so.
Yeah.
But of course, they could not stop me. I was already an adult, from the age of 18. Your parents cannot stop you from doing anything legally, So they know, and they knew at the time that all they could do was advise me not to go. And they did. Okay. And then they told me, you go on your own and we don't back you up. That's also very important, because sometimes when we talk about empowerment, and I work a lot about empowerment in my platform, we forget that empowerment brings responsibility.
Yeah.
So every time I talk about empowerment, I talk about responsibility, taking responsibility for my decisions and my choices and my dreams. And this is also something my parents have taught me. So although they did not stop me from going wherever I wanted to go, they made very clear this crazy dream was on my back. They would not, send me money or make it easy in any way. I was on my own. You want to go? Go. You want to break yourself? Break yourself. You're going to have to handle it alone. So it is your entire 100% responsibility. This is scary.
Yeah.
But it's also what I needed. And it's also the beginning of what later on became the empowerment side of Egyptian dance that I developed, and that makes my work so unique and so specific. So they were supporters from afar, but not very enthusiastic.
Yeah.
you know.
So tell us some facets of your initial days in Cairo. I'm so,
Oh my
curious
God.
to know about it.
Well, there is so much to tell because have you ever been to Cairo?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but you're from India.
Right.
You are in New Delhi?
Yes.
Okay. So Cairo, it's a little crazier than New Delhi.
Oh.
Crazier, all right?
Yeah.
It is crazier. And it is perhaps a little bit more shocking even, and more full of contrasts and with challenges for a Westerner, especially if she's going there with the dream of becoming an Oriental dancer, which is a big taboo in Arabic culture.
Right.
And in Muslim countries, it's a big taboo. It's not like I wanted to move to Cairo to be an engineer. I moved to Cairo to launch my career. I had it very clear in my head. I wanted to know the dance from the root, from the ground, from the people. I wanted to dance
From the
with the best musicians I could find. I wanted to perform for Egyptian audiences so that I could have the feedback. I could have a barometer of how well I was doing, and if I was going for the real stuff, if I was not, if I was real talented or not, if this was indeed my language or not. And there were so many challenges that you had to be crazy indeed, and also very passionate and obsessed about your dream to make it happen. So when I moved to Cairo, I had this big dream in my head, a dream everybody told me I would never accomplish, by the way, including Egyptian teachers who were there who met me at the time. Everybody advised me to come back to my country. I must say that. There was no one who told me, yes, you're gonna make it, because it is a very hard market. It is very small. It is highly competitive, because this is the dream of every Oriental dancer, is to dance in Cairo in the best spots with the best orchestra. And it is a very corrupted country and a very corrupted market, all right? So I knew I was going for trouble, and I knew I was going to face a lot of challenges. I didn't know it would be as hard as it was. So just as I arrived to Cairo, I am informed there was a law forbidding foreigners to perform Oriental dance professionally.
Okay.
A law. So this is interesting. I just canceled everything in my country. Notice, I was filming on television, I was in the theater, I was dancing, already organizing events, I was flying. I canceled everything. I told all my clients, impresarios, companies I was already dancing for, I'm gone. I'm gonna spend the next years in Cairo. And I arrived there and I'm told, what you came to do is illegal.
Yeah.
I said, what? My mom was with me at the time because she traveled with me to help me settle down, find an apartment and, just settle down.
Yes.
And she was very happy because she thought this is a sign from God. You're not supposed to be here. Let's go. I said, Mom, that ain't gonna happen, and you know it. She said, but what are you gonna do here? You live from your work. If you cannot work, how are you gonna pay your bills? What are you gonna do if you cannot dance?
Right.
I told her, don't worry, there will be a change. Things will change. She asked me, how do you know? I know. Relax. I came here for a reason, and I'm not going back until I'm done. She was scared, very scared, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
She stayed with me for 15 days. We got my first apartment. She was always waiting for me to change my mind. I didn't. Then the time came for her to return to Portugal. I dropped her at the airport. I came back to my home, and suddenly I see myself alone in my new apartment in Cairo.
Yeah.
And the reality of what I was living came down suddenly. Oh my God, what have I done? I'm alone in Cairo. It's forbidden to dance. I have no one to turn myself to. No friends, no connections, no impresario, no man, nothing. Every time I go to the street to buy, groceries, I'm harassed, because this is a very big problem in Cairo. Sexual harassment. This is something that has been brought to the attention of the public very recently. It was a taboo subject. You didn't hear about it, but it is very, very aggressive. So imagine I'm totally alone. I know that it's illegal to perform, and I'm there to perform.
Yeah.
And then every time I go into the street, I have fights with men because of the sexual harassment that I was not used to. And it all came down on
Could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose.
the moment I dropped my mom at the airport and I saw myself totally alone, no perspective of anything. I just cried my eyes out to the point of falling asleep on the ground and waking up around 5 o'clock in the morning.